Hello everybody, it's time to return to Dinosaur Island for another episode. Now if you remember from our previous episode, you'd know that Typhoon and Cyclone got in a bit of an attack. Typhoon broke her leg. And well, I'm just going to show the aftermath of what happened. As we can see here, we see Typhoon moving up. She seems to be scouting out an area. Now, she does have a bit of a limp, and she's only doing this so that she can, of course, rest. Resting is one of the key parts of healing. But if you remember from my previous episode, you know that Dilophosaurs have been outcompeted on the island. And because of this, well, the statement goes for every outcompeted animal, but because of this, they constantly need to keep moving, not only to, well, increase their chances of finding good prey, but also to decrease their chances of getting hunted down. Of course, with Typhoon laying down, it means that they are at a bit of a loss. Cyclone knows this especially. Not only is he in charge of guarding his mate, but making sure he doesn't get attacked himself. It's going to be hard for him to even survive out here, especially with this bit of a disadvantage. But he will manage. As for every creature, life finds a way. However, we are not going to focus another episode on these two, as we already did that last time. I just wanted to show what happened to the two. Over by a bit of a forest area, we see a Pentaceratops, similar to Triceratops except for the little indent it has in its crest. As you can see, it appears to be feeding on some low-lying shrubbery. And when I say low-lying, I really mean low-lying. Like, this branch is falling off completely. Even though it may be alone, it's still very strong. Its horns are pointed sort of downwards, but doesn't mean that it isn't strong. In fact, its horns are really pointed downwards and more of a straight sort of line, as you can see right there. Pentaceratops are a very dangerous creature, not only because it's the mating season and they're very, well, I guess you could say hormonal, but also because, well, they're pretty big as well. Almost the size of a Spinosaur. Speaking of which, a creature is stalking on it. As we can see, we see a male Spinosaurus. It's actually the same one that appeared in the watering hole episode. The same one from like 2 years ago, or I think 3 years now. As you can see, it has a bit of a gash on its neck, the little pink inflammation near it. It is because it was attacked by a Hararosaurus the other day, and it was sort of clawed in the neck. Thankfully, it was only a slice and not a stab. It is healing quite well, but it seems to be pretty hungry. And it is viewing the Pentaceratops as a good prey item. It has been stalking it for only about 20 minutes now. However, since the Pentaceratops is distracted with his face quite literally in his food, he seems that it is a perfect time to get a strike on the Pentaceratops. The Spinosaur has just bitten the neck of the Pentaceratops. The Spinosaur's serrated teeth had actually torn out some flesh on its neck, revealing a bit of its actual spine. It is letting out an extreme distress call because it is heavily bleeding out. It had actually almost severed an artery. One more attack, and this Pentaceratops is sure to go down. Now, the Spinosaur has two options. He could wait for the Pentaceratops to bleed out. As you know, he severed a few vital veins, but not a huge artery, so he could wait for the Pentaceratops to bleed out, or he could try to secure a kill. However, since the Pentaceratops, is on max alert, it could be a bad idea, especially since his neck wound is still sort of inflamed. However, he decides to go in for one final killing blow. He has just knocked down the Pentaceratops, and with a swift move, oh dear. The Pentaceratops is dead. See, the Spinosaur used its big claws and sliced at its sort of back area, revealing most of its lungs. It revealed its lungs, and it caused it to puncture it and to suffer from collapsing lung and internal bleeding. Not only that, but he also went for the eye. He bit the eye out. Bit of a thing that's kind of hard to believe, but since his snout is a bit long and his teeth are serrated, he actually managed to not only tear out the eye, but damage a bit of the brain. So, not only is a Pentaceratops die a painful death, but he's now left brain damaged. Well, obviously, since he's already dead, it doesn't matter. Quite a deadly way to die. With this bountiful amount of food, he begins feasting on the carcass. Meanwhile, over in some little high-rising forest, on top of the little canopy area, we see a Quetzalcoatlus. Biggest pterosaur around, about the size, it's a little taller than a bus when it's standing up. And it's deciding to go for a flight. Pterosaurs do this a lot, and we don't know why. Could it be because they're excited? Could it be because they're excited? Maybe they're trying to find a mate, or maybe they're just enjoying the night. It seems the Quetzalcoatlus has spotted a prey item and sweeps down to the floor to catch it. It was a little shrew. Even though it's so very small, it's still a good snack to have. And it swallows the shrew whole. However, this dim-witted pterosaur is making a very bad idea staying on the ground, because something is viewing it. The killer was none other than a Ceratosaurus. It looks similar to the one that was in episode 7, I believe, but don't be fooled, this is actually a different one. A female Ceratosaur. It killed this Quetzalcoatlus since it had a lot of trouble trying to find food. And this Quetzalcoatlus was really the only prey item it could actually catch. Even though maybe it may look like it's just skin and bone, the Quetzalcoatlus, it actually has quite a lot of flesh near its tummy area. Anyway, she goes in to feast. The Ceratosaur has actually gutted the Quetzalcoatlus. This is where most of the nutrients is. However, something has spotted the Ceratosaur, and the Ceratosaur turns around. The thing that roared at the Ceratosaur is a 40-foot tall Acrocanthosaurus. This guy is not something you want to mess around with. He is one of the top predators on the island. In fact, even considered an apex predator. Only outcompeted by Giganotosaur and Tyrannosaur. Even then, he's still a formidable opponent. The Ceratosaur faces off against the Acrocanthosaur. Practically dwarfs it in size. The Ceratosaur is intimidated, just extremely intimidated. And they know what they need to do. They have no chance of fighting off the Acrocanthosaur. Are you serious? Like, it has no chance at all. It couldn't even get an attack in the jugular. So, it sadly needs to stand down. The Ceratosaur moves away and accepts well, defeat. However, the Acrocanthosaur unknowingly walked into some territory. Well, territory of what, you might be asking? Territory of a huge Packy Rhinoceros. But they are not alone. They actually have a son. And they have spotted the Acrocanthosaur as a danger. Even though the Acrocanthosaur didn't even know they were there, they still think that he's a danger. There is no backing away from this confrontation. In fact, it'll almost certainly result in a battle. The Acrocanthosaurus has been toppled over onto its side. The Packy Rhinoceros makes quick work of the situation. The Packy Rhinoceros crushes the Acrocanthosaurus, jugular, its neck, with its giant, powerful hammer-like protrusion on its nose. It crushes its head, just like it did to the Pterosaur in episode 7, I believe. The Packy Rhinoceros crushed the Ceratosaur's throat. The Packy Rhinoceros turns around and goes to greet their child to tell them to go back to the nest. The young Packy Rhinoceros moves up to his mother and they begin comforting one another. Even though things may be sad and grim on the island, there are still happy moments. She tells her son to move over to the nest, with the Packy Rhinoceros mother following soon. With this, it ends our 9th episode of Dinosaur Island. Only a few more before the season finale. Who knows, I might continue to a 3rd season, or a 4th, or a 5th, or a 6th, or a 20th. Who knows? See ya, people.